Welcome to the If I Had More Time podcast. My name is Liz Garcia. I'm your host today. I'm here with our senior pastor, Eric Geiger, and the new lead pastor of our San Clemente congregation, Gavin Lamming.
Hello.
How
man,
fun is
welcome,
this?
man.
Yeah,
We're so glad,
thanks.
honored to have you.
Oh, it's good to be here. Privilege.
So excited to be celebrating these two new congregations with our church this weekend. And over the next few months, you guys are going to hear from some other leaders that are going to be a part of Union Rescue Mission, as well as Yorba Linda as well. But we're really excited to have you here today, Gavin. Would love for everybody just to get to hear a little bit about you and hear about your story in ministry and a little bit about why San Clemente, why now?
Yeah, I'd love to share. So I am from Orange County, born and raised. I live in San Juan. I grew up there. And so when I heard about this opportunity and heard that the next location would be in San Clemente, my wife, Nicole, and I were thrilled because this is our home. This is where we live. This is where we're raising our family. The last 10 years I've spent in ministry at Rock Harbor Church, which is a plant out of Mariners back in the late 90s. And that was a beautiful gift that we just loved. And all of our seasons of life from our early 20s, dating Nicole and getting married and having a kid and doing all these things was there. And that was wonderful. We got to learn so much about ourselves, about one another. But ultimately, the Lord has placed this new chapter into our lives, and we're excited. We said yes. We want to be obedient to whatever God has for us, and we're confident that this is the next phase, the next chapter, to be people shepherding in our local community down in San Clemente, to be a part of what God's up to down there. There's so many beautiful things happening down there. We shared this. Globally, there's this move of God that's happening, but I've uniquely seen it in this community where there's people coming back to faith that have been faith adjacent for a while or grew up with some foundation. And then there's tons of people who have no foundation who are coming to know Jesus and getting baptized. And it's a really sweet season. So I'm excited to step into the momentum that God has already stirred up down there. That'd be great.
I love it. And I want to just say what you said about Rock Harbor, because I'm really thankful for Glenn, the senior pastor there.
Mm-hmm.
He and we texted about you coming in, being a part of Mariners, and then launching Mariners San Clemente. And I just want to honor Glenn for a moment, because such a godly man, and
Absolutely.
I'm thankful for his influence in your life, and I'm grateful for Rock Harbor and them. Really, they commissioned you out. They sent you out. So really beautiful. I'm really thankful.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I only saw on Instagram, but
Instagram's real life, Liz.
Yeah,
Liz.
exactly.
Anything on Instagram.
It looked like
Yeah,
they really
I think that
honored
was
you
real.
guys.
Yeah.
Man.
No, it was genuine. I'll piggyback on that. Glenn said from the very beginning, I brought him to the process immediately because I knew I could trust him.
Yeah,
and
that's
and
great.
his phrase he said to me was, "I'm Team Gavin first. What the Lord has for you, I want to steward that alongside you as well." And he did all the way through.
He's a godly man. I love that dude.
Yeah. Shout out to Glenn. Love you, dude.
Glenn, I hope you're listening. Hope you're hearing the love fest over you right now.
You were sharing, we had some interest meetings this weekend for those that are interested in being a part of these launch congregations. And I got to hear a little bit of your pitch to everybody, and not a pitch. You're not selling anything. It's more of your excitement and your story with it. And I loved the challenge that you gave to everybody, how it matched up with your own story right now of what God has been calling you into. And it actually included a bit of a dinner with Eric and Kay.
Yes.
Would you mind just sharing that story? People would love to hear it.
Absolutely, yeah. So, during this process of discerning and interviewing and figuring out what is God calling us into, we're invited to have dinner with Eric and Kay, with you guys. And going into that dinner, we're both kind of interviewing each other, right?
Totally.
And Nicole and I were a bit nervous. You're a big deal, man.
So you guys didn't come off that way. It was such a great hang.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
When I got in the car after, it was a long dinner, and I told Kay, I said, that felt like it was an hour. It was such a.
That's kind.
I mean, Nicole, your wife's amazing, dude.
She's the secret weapon.
I'm for sure. I mean,
From day one.
You guys were it was a great dinner. We loved it.
Thank you.
I would have been sad if you had said no, because I was like, we're gonna enjoy hanging with these people.
Oh man, so kind. But yeah, I remember in the middle of the dinner, of course I'm talking about Rock Harbor, as I have been, and how much I love it, and Glenn, and we've been there 10 years and grown up in this place. And Eric, you looked at me and you said, if you love it so much, why would you want to leave? And it's a tough question, right? And especially in that context, and real quickly, and I think it was the Spirit that prompted this, because I felt that way and I feel that way. I told you, to be totally honest, I don't want to leave. It'll take a move of God to get me out of this place. And that was really me just putting everything on the table of I got nothing to lose. I just want what God has for me and my
Amen.
family. And we know how the story ends, obviously.
Yeah.
We're here. But it was such a wonderful dinner, one, to just get to know you guys, because, from the outside looking in, you never know what people might be like.
Yeah.
It could be a larger-than-life person, or it could be a different version of someone. And you and Kay made us feel like family immediately. Kay walked up to Nicole, gave her a big hug. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And hanging out with you and chatting, having dinner, it was such a gift. And I left feeling like, oh, these are my people. Like, these are the type of people I want to surround myself with. I want to be led by. I want to jump into their story and what God's writing through them as
And
leaders.
we felt the same way, man. We had such a great time.
Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gift.
Awesome.
Kay is the best.
She
as
really
well.
is the best, man.
I won't.
That's your secret weapon right
Always
there,
not even
dude.
close. I mean, when people hang out with Eric and Kay, I mean, no one's walking away saying, "Man, Eric." Everybody's walking away. I mean, she's awesome. She really is.
Yeah.
And honestly, she's the same all the time. I don't even know how she
I
does
believe
it.
it.
Yeah.
I don't know how she always has so much joy.
She
She's
does.
amazing. I've never
Yeah.
shared this with her, actually. I had started on staff like in the middle of COVID when nobody was meeting anybody in person, But I was in the parking lot one day, and to this day, I don't know how she knows my name, but she saw me from across the parking lot, and she said, "Are you Liz? Oh my gosh, hey!" and gave me the biggest hug when
Oh,
people were kind
sweet.
of weird about giving hugs,
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it. Like, it's
Kay had she lived under the COVID rules for about 8 days.
just like I can't take it.
Can't do this.
She's
yeah.
like, if I get it, I get it.
A true
I
extrovert, yeah.
cannot not be with people right now.
Oh my
You know?
gosh.
So good.
Yeah.
She is the best,
amazing.
yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, we're so glad to have you and
Oh, thank
Nicole.
you.
And you have also a very adorable son and dog that we all saw this weekend.
Yes. Jackson, our 3.5-year-old boy, he is as boy as they come, just running chaos and
I love that age.
being loud, and
fun.
it is the best age. It's so fun. He's becoming his own little person, and
Yep.
loves the quote new church already.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we've been helping him.
Have you let him
transition
swim in
into
the
that.
lake yet?
Not yet, but he spends a lot of time at the waterfalls.
Okay.
Big
okay.
waterfall.
If he
fan.
wants to swim in the lake, you got to let him do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
We will,
waterfalls.
we will.
Oh, on our campus.
Yeah,
I was
there's
confused
waterfalls.
about
Yeah,
what
there
you
are-
were talking
yeah.
about
There
for
are
a
waterfalls,
second.
yeah.
Are there waterfalls in San Clemente that I don't know about? I was lost for a moment.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, well, I thought that this weekend's message was timely in your confusion about how to put on a wetsuit because we have
San Clemente is
Gavin
such a
here.
great surf
Yeah.
culture, and I
Totally.
mean, and Gavin is like soccer player and surfer,
Yeah.
like pure athlete. To me, surfing's the hardest thing I've ever tried to do.
It is. It doesn't translate to really anything else. Meaning other thing, if you skate, doesn't mean you can surf. If you can snowboard, doesn't mean you can surf. If you can surf, you can usually do the other things. But it
Huh.
is hard. You got a lot
Yeah.
of dimensions. It's
Yeah.
a 3-dimensional kind of thing. You're
In a
riding
given
wave.
week, how many times are you out surfing?
Pre-kid, 5 days a week.
Nice.
Post-kid, a lot less than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wife willing, I will get out there.
Yeah, it's great, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are on top of an amazing weekend of sharing about all these incredible things happening in our church. We're also in an amazing series, Read This
Yep.
Way, on week 3. And this weekend, all about transformation and the word actually changing us.
Yes.
Is a really powerful message, Eric. I'm super, super grateful. Love
Yeah.
these practical tools as well. If you had any more time this weekend, we gave you a lot to talk about, though. You had to do a lot of announcements and then teach a message. But if you had any more time,
Yeah.
what would you have shared?
I would have definitely spent more time showing that it really is normal for people to read for information or behavioral modification. So you look at the scripture, Judas, for example, lots of information about Jesus, but was never transformed. So that's another. So demons were
Yeah.
an example. I think I would have given Judas as an example. It's possible to be around Jesus and not be changed by him, and so it's possible to read the scripture, and if you're reading it just for information, you're not letting him own you, then you're not going to be transformed. And then behavior modification, I think of the rich young ruler as another example. I mean, he basically asked Jesus to modify his behavior, like, give me another thing to do.
Wow.
I've been able to, Jesus, and he actually believed he kept the commandments. I've been able to keep them all. Ever since I was a kid, since I was a boy, I've kept them all. What else do I need to do? And I just find it really a thrilling passage because Jesus doesn't indulge the invitation to just give him another behavior. he says, no, sell everything, come follow me. I want to be your Lord. And so that's, again, where you see Jesus resisting people viewing him as just someone who's going to try to change the outside of the cup.
Yeah.
Versus, no, if you want to follow me, then I have to be the most important thing. I have to dwell over your life.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what I've done. If I had more time, I would have built out information and behavioral modification, and the sermon would have been 50 minutes long. You know?
We would have loved it.
Yes,
We would have had a
true.
blast.
So that's what I would have done if I had more time.
Yeah, that's good. What do you guys both think we would miss? Like, if it was just about behavioral modification,
Yeah.
you know, if it was something that we could do and it would work somehow for salvation or whatever,
Yeah.
what would we miss?
You just look at all the world religions that are not based on grace, and you would totally miss gratitude. So you see Colossians 3, with gratitude in your heart. If the faith is a thing that you achieve, then you don't have joy and gratitude. You have pride and grit. You know, you have religion.
Yeah.
You have dead wooden religion. That's what you get.
Yeah, and I just think of all the cultural narratives around self-help. You know, we have an abundance of resources, opportunities. We got podcasts. You can go to Barnes & Noble or Spotify or Apple Music right now and find 100 different resources for behavior modification. There's no shortage of it, and you said it in the sermon. That's always going to come up short. It's not going to satisfy the story of chess. It's not that it was too much, it's that it's too little, right? And you're always chasing. I think of, you know, Jordan Peterson's and the Jocos and Rogan and Atomic Habits and all these things. And although there are good things that are part of them, they're not ultimate.
No.
They're not ultimate. And the only thing we can find that is ultimate is Jesus.
That's right.
And we find him in Scripture. And so dwelling in the Scriptures is so much more valuable than chasing what the latest trend or fad or trending book or New York Times bestseller, podcast, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Because we're just going to keep chasing.
Yes.
Yeah.
You mentioned that quote from Sophia, the middle chess player.
Yeah.
I just thought, I don't know how old she was when she said it. I just thought it was such a wise quote. You know, chess wasn't too much for me. It was too little. It was really convicting when I read that quote.
Yeah.
Like, what are the chess pieces in my life? What are the things that I've done the same thing? I've let something else, whether it's a goal when I was in the marketplace, you know, or some dream for something I want in the future to be the main thing that rules over my heart. It turns out to not be enough. It turns out to be too little.
Yeah.
And I think it can even turn against us in some ways, right? We think about of performative Christianity. We think of ways that we try to perform our way into God's grace or earn our way into his grace. And we serve a God who came down to us.
Right.
You know, Jesus came down to us, and we don't need to go up to him. He's already here with us.
Yeah.
And so it also jams that cycle of us trying to perform our way up because he's already here with us. He's with us in the Scriptures and revealing himself to us constantly through the Spirit, through general and special revelation, you know, a variety of different ways.
Yeah. Yeah, you said that, made me think of a quote. I can't remember who said it, but that whatever you idolize, you end up demonizing later because it ends up not being enough for you. So
Wow.
if you idolize your career and you spend tons of time and it turns out to not be enough, turns out to be too little for you, then you'll look back and hate that you gave everything to it because it didn't deliver.
Wow.
So you idolized it, and then later in life, you'll end up demonizing it because, no, I gave everything to this thing, and it turned out to not be enough.
Yeah, it doesn't deliver.
Yeah, it doesn't deliver. So it's one of the reasons when I've done marital counseling, it's a bad thing to idolize your spouse because in the end, you'll end up being bitter towards your spouse because they won't be able to carry the weight of being your everything.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then it just ends up in bitterness. And
It just, yeah.
Yeah, disdain.
If Kay makes me, and I don't think she ever has been tempted to do so, but because she knows I'm so imperfect. But if she makes me her everything, I will so crush her because I can't deliver true joy.
Right.
Like right now, as we're doing this podcast, we're not together, but God's always with her.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I I can't meet every need,
Yeah, right.
you know?
I was really struck with this example of the family and the chess. I was really struck by how it did seem to own her, and what would my life look like if that were to be the word for me? Like, what if I were kept up by God, the passion that God has put in my heart,
Mm-hmm.
and with the things that He's teaching me, and I woke up desiring to be with Him,
Yeah, instead of being
And
in the bathroom playing chess, if you were waking up reading the scripture kind of thing.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. And I can't ignore the fact that it was the father, the leader of the family, who also led his family to do this thing,
Yeah.
right? And I'm sitting here with two amazing dads. I'd love to just hear from you two about the word in your family and in your home, and how you guys introduce this to your family. I mean, you're both pastors, right? Like,
So that means we're perfect
yeah,
dads, right?
right? So can't you guys tell us how
Yeah.
to do this perfectly or something?
Oh, Eric, you got any advice, bud? You're further along than me.
So yeah, I'm glad you're asking today, because last night would be like a night where I was proud of how I handled things as a dad. You know,
Perfect.
sometimes you'd ask and I'd be like, oh shoot, last night I wasn't a great dad. So by God's grace, both of my daughters currently have a passion for reading the scripture. I mean, I love looking at their Bibles. I mean, they're like marked up, like different
Wow.
color pens. They have like the
So cool.
journaling Bibles, all these notes. So Evie's reading through 1 Corinthians right now, and she said, Dad, I have some questions. So we sat down, and we probably spent 45 minutes, and chapter 8, then chapter 11, and it was so special. I mean, I just wish it didn't end. You know, it was so sacred, and I know if you're listening, maybe you're thinking, well, of course, that Eric knows some of the answers because he has been studying the Bible, or he's went to seminary. Some of the questions that she asked, I didn't know the answer. It'd been a while since I read that passage, and I'm like, let's read that together. Let's talk about, let's read it in different versions. So we read it in the NIV and the CSB, and it was fun to see her wrestle with some things like, I don't understand why that translation that puts where they put the comma changes the whole. She's like, I don't like that. I'm helping her see that there are some texts that a translator does make a theological decision based on where they put where they input an emphasis, based on punctuation and whatnot. Anyway, Kay and I have decided that we just want to have in our home an openness to constantly talk about the scripture more than we have a daily rhythm of a devotional as a family.
Yeah.
So there are times, like when they were really small, I mean, like the Sally Lloyd Jones Jesus Storybook Bible.
Yep.
Oh, we read through that all the time. And then there was a gospel project, 100 stories that points to Jesus, read through that with them. So early years, like where Jackson is right now, we were just jamming but not just stories of the Bible, but I love those books. And I think we have them in our bookstore that point to the overall story, which is what we talked about in week 2 of the series. And then I think there was a season when I was reading the book of Genesis with Eden, and I would give her a test. We read Proverbs together. And I had this goal that by the time she graduated high school, we would have read through the whole Bible together. And I got to be honest, I didn't keep that. That didn't happen. And I never made a vow before the Lord or anything, but I just thought that would be cool. But what has happened, and Kay thinks, and maybe she's just trying to encourage me, but she thinks it's more effective, is we just regularly talk about the scripture in, I guess you could say, an organic way. But dinner multiple times a week, the scripture's coming up. A sit-down family dinner multiple times a week. Like Evie last night saying, Dad, I've got some questions. I grew up seeing my dad read the Bible. I'd go downstairs to get breakfast early in the morning for school, and my dad would be downstairs reading the Bible. And that impacted me so much.
Wow.
So my kids see me in the Word, they see Kay in the Word, and we talk about the Word. That's been the best way for us.
It's beautiful. And it shows different life stages too. Like you guys,
there is different life stages.
You were doing something different when the girls were younger. What about you?
Totally. Yeah. We're very much in, I mean, I said Jackson's 3.5 years old. We got the storybook Bible.
It's so great.
It rules.
I think it's great for adults too.
Honestly, it's inspired some sermons that I preached before. I'm like, dang,
100%.
this is good stuff.
It's excellent.
Yeah. But every night before we go to bed, we read 2 stories, and one's a kid's story, Dr. Seuss story, whatever. But the second one is always the Bible, and he loves the pictures. He can't read, obviously, and so he has the one about the fire. He wants to read that, and he has the one about the cross. He wants to read that one. But what I love most about this kind of tradition that we've cultivated is that when we have a babysitter and we're out to dinner somewhere, and the babysitter's doing it, they don't always know the flow of bedtime, the bedtime routine, the kids get fixated on. And so when they're reading the stories, they just think, oh, I'll just read any given story. And if they don't pick up the Bible, Jackson's very quick to say, no, it's a Bible story now. We have to read a Bible story.
I love
now.
it.
Yeah, so
That's the best, man.
We're on the right track. We got
that is
many years
great.
to go, but he my hope, my desire, you shared that, is that he learns to love the Scripture, but grows up with it more than anything, and whatever capacity that happens, whether it's conversation, whether it's reading, whether it's devotional or consistency or less consistent, whatever it is, my hope is that he has it close to his heart in every season, every chapter, and that he knows that the story of God also applies to his journey and where he is, and he'll be faithful with Jackson the way he's been with us, the way he's been with the world and everything, all creation. So
it's awesome.
Amazing. What I love that I'm hearing in both of you is that it's both a discipline and a treasure to you. Like you make that a joy in your household, as well as you show some discipline, which is beautiful. I love it. So for our last question, Eric, you showed the amazing cross-referencing tool. I'm so thankful for that. Really, really fun.
And then if you get next week, we'll talk about how to use a study Bible.
Yeah.
And I know a lot in our church have not yet had a study Bible, especially those who are maybe new. And we have so many new Christians in our church, which I love. I'm so honored that we get to be among them, and I'm honored to pastor them. A study Bible, I think, will be really helpful. And the cross-referencing that we talked about this week is actually really easy in a study Bible.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
In other words, you don't have to go to multiple sites and that kind of thing. But if you don't currently have a study Bible, you can still do cross-referencing on that tool that we showed, the online one, but you can do it more easily in a study Bible.
Absolutely. So this one that you were showing us this weekend, cross-referencing Ephesians 5 and Colossians 3.
Yep.
We're talking about this inner relationship of the Word and the Spirit.
Yes.
Whenever it comes to our transformation,
I just think that cross-reference is like stunning.
It's insane. It's amazing
Because it's the same result. Being filled with the Spirit and the Word dwelling in me is the same result. Now, I want to be sure that no one's mishearing me. I'm not saying that the Word is the Spirit, but I am saying that if the Word's dwelling in you, you will be also the same person who's filled with the Spirit. And if you're filled with the Spirit, you will also be the person who the Word is dwelling in you. In other words, you're not filled with the Spirit if the Word's not dwelling in you. And if the Word's dwelling in you, you're going to be someone who's also filled with the Spirit.
Yeah.
Like they work together.
Absolutely.
Word and Spirit works together. But I'm not saying the Word is the Spirit, although the Word has fully been written by the Spirit. But you're not going to have someone who the Word's dwelling in who's not filled with the Spirit. And you're not going to have someone who's filled with the Spirit who doesn't love the Word. It's impossible to be filled with the Spirit and not love the Word and the Word dwell in you.
You might have to slow this down, rewind, and listen to that one more time again. I just had to replay it in my head, but I'm tracking.
Let me you say it again?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Maybe
All right.
you can share too, Gavin.
So you're not going to be dwelling in the Word and not filled with the Spirit. If you're dwelling in the Word, or the Word's dwelling in you, you're going to be convicted of sin. You're going to be repenting. You're going to want the Spirit of God to constantly be stirred up in your life, to be controlled by the Spirit. So being filled with the Spirit is really about being controlled by the Spirit. Well, the person who the Word is dwelling in is the same person who's being controlled by the Spirit. So they go hand in glove. They go together, right?
That's good.
And if you're being controlled by the Spirit, you're going to be wanting the Word to dwell in you because you want His wisdom. So you're not going to have someone who is filled with the Spirit, being controlled by the Spirit, and is thinking, I don't want the Word. That's impossible.
Yeah.
If you're controlled by the Spirit, you're hungry for His Word. If you're hungry for His Word, you're controlled with the Spirit, which is why the result for both is the same.
Yeah.
Gratitude, wisdom, admonishing people, the same.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's good. I think of a quote I heard a while ago from Queen Elizabeth's coronation ceremony. during that ceremony, they handed her a Bible and said the phrase, "We hand to you the most valuable thing this world affords." And it's interesting for a queen to receive a Bible and being told this is the most important thing you
Yeah.
can have. And it's for the reasons that you just shared, that you will be transformed. You will
Yeah.
be shaped. You will be changed. You will become more like Jesus.
That's great. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's a great quote.
If these words dwell in your life, you will become more like Jesus.
Yes.
They're related. You cannot do it any other way. You can't just consume the world or content or whatever it might be and become more like Jesus. You need to be in the scripture and see who he is, what he's up to, and by his Spirit, we are being transformed and becoming more like him.
Yeah, love it.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm encouraged and reminded about your first sermon in this series on week 1, where you said the greatest tool, or the most important tool, is a humble heart.
Right.
Too. I think about how that transformation is not coming if I'm coming to the scripture with my own ideas, my own thoughts, but no, submitting myself actually to his transformational work.
And it takes a humble heart to be filled with the Spirit, because you're saying, I don't want to control myself. I want the Spirit to control me.
Yeah.
That's good.
What would our church look like if all of us were to allow the Spirit to use his word and to transform us?
I mean, what is it, John Wesley that said, give me 10 people who love nothing but God and hate nothing but sin, and will change the world. I mean, and I think that's an amazing quote. I mean, a local congregation in a city, so any one of our Mariners congregations that is filled with people who just want the word to dominate their life, neighborhoods change, families change, cities change. I mean, we're reminded of how Jesus served us, and we serve people. We're reminded of his generosity, and we're generous. We are filled with joy. We live righteously attractive lives in our communities where people are like, man, what is that person have?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we change the world as the word changes us.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's
very good.
That's what the word does.
What you got?
It's hard to top that, to be honest, Eric. That's good. But
as I said, I'm like, dang, I should have had that in my sermon.
I know that'll preach right there, brother. Yeah. What would it look like? I agree with everything Eric just said. I often encourage people, above everything else, read the Bible. Devos are great.
That's good.
Books are great. Other adjacent content can be great, but the Bible is still ultimate because of the power it holds, because of the power of transformation in it. And what would it look like if more people immerse themselves into Scripture? I think of the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness. All of those things will become more true of us. And you said it, those are contagious.
Yes.
When people see people loving one, Jesus said this is how they will know that you are my disciples, by the way you love one another. When we emit those things into our worlds, our culture, it's countercultural. It's different. People pay attention. They recognize that there's something unique that they have that I want. And that's the power of the gospel. That's the power of Jesus in our lives. It's not our own performance. It's not our ability to be great. It's Jesus through us, transforming us, changing us, us reflecting him out to the world that draws people back into him.
Yes. Come on.
So good. That's awesome.
Come on. It's awesome.
Well, thank you guys so much. Gavin, thanks for joining us.
Of course. Thank you.
So excited for our church to finally know,
And
secrets out.
We still have some interest meetings coming up, right?
That's right.
So they can just go to the website. Liz, tell them what to do.
Oh, gosh.
I'm assuming
I
you
don't
know what to
the
do.
URL. If
I know,
you
I
go
can
to
tell.
the website.
Okay, Gavin can tell
Go
us.
to the website,
Yeah.
sign up. We have interest meetings every weekend. I believe it's the next 4 consecutive weeks,
Great.
Saturday nights, Sunday mornings, and then there will be one Thursday night coming up as well. So any of those, I will be there. I'd love to meet you, get you plugged in, get you connected, and begin this journey together.
Awesome.
Will Nicole be there too?
She will make most of them, and Jackson
Okay.
might make a guest appearance
Come
as
on.
well.
There you go.
yeah.
Now you got to
You
go.
got to meet him.
Thank you guys so much for joining us for the If I Had More Time podcast.